Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. This week I am swapping my screen time for reading time, but I'm gonna do it my own way. So basically, I have really not been super good about reading since the school year started, and I wanted to spend more time reading, obviously, and less time just scrolling on my phone because I always feel yucky after scrolling on my phone and I just want to get more reading done. I also have two other motivators for wanting to get more reading done this week, and the first is I am almost done with an audiobook, The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes, and it is due back at the library in like 3 days. So I really need to finish that audiobook and get that turned back in so that I can, know how it ends and not have to wait for the next copy. Second reason, I joined a book club, which I'm very excited about. Our first meeting is the first week of October, and our book club pick is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I haven't started it yet. So I still have 2 weeks to finish it, but I would like to have it done hopefully this week so I have a week to kind of be thinking about it before I discuss it at our book club. So with that being said, my personal spin on this video is going to be, instead of just taking the total amount of screen time and reading for that long, I have a full-time job that's just not possible. Like some of my days I have 4 or 5 hours of screen time. That's just not gonna happen. It's not feasible to put that expectation on myself, because that would be like from the time I get off work, like from the time I get home to the time I go to bed, reading. And that sounds great, but I also know me and I don't want to spend every spare second I have reading. Like I want to spend time with my husband and do other things and watch movies and stuff. So instead, I am only going to focus on the entertainment and social categories on my screen time. I wish I could just show you on my phone, but I do all of my recording on my phone, so I'm just gonna have to overlay it here. And that is another reason I didn't want to just use the total amount, is because some of these days my numbers are really high because I did a lot of filming on those days. I was doing my week in the life vlog this past week, so some days have pretty high filming, and I also do my editing on my phone. On the days that I spent editing, that number is also really high. So I didn't think that was fair, because it's not like I was on my phone scrolling. Like that is what I want to minimize, is the time spent just like doing useless stuff on my phone when I could be nurturing my soul and my mind with reading. You know what I mean? This week, I am trying to remember all of the counts off the top of my head. Obviously, I'm gonna paste it here so y'all can see. Fact check me, please. But I believe the hours are going to be somewhere around like 2 hours and 35 minutes Monday, 2 hours and 8 minutes on both Tuesday and Wednesday, kind of weird, an hour 35 on Thursday, and an hour 57 on Friday. So I did get those numbers by combining the entertainment and the social categories. I did not include any creative or just like using my phone to communicate with people, stuff like that. So I hope that makes sense. And without saying anything else, don't want to bore you guys or scare you off, let's get into the video. It's about 5:50 on Monday. I just got back from the gym, and the only reading I've done today is listening to my audiobook. So I got about 40 minutes on my commute to work, like to and from work, and then I just listened for about 30 minutes at the gym. So that's an hour and 10 minutes of reading done. I need 2 hours and 1 minute today. So what is that? Like an hour, 51 minutes? I know I'm a math teacher, hold on. I have an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, 51 minutes. Okay, I don't know why I doubted myself. It's been a long day. So I just have 51 minutes of reading left. I'm going to take a shower and get something to eat, and then sit down and read Remarkably Bright Creatures. did in fact finish my 51 minutes. I don't actually know how long I read because I started my timer when I started listening to my audiobook again. I ended up not reading Remarkably Bright Creatures because I only have 3 days to finish The Giver of Stars, which is what I'm audiobooking, and so I need to hurry and finish that before I have to return it to the library. So I was listening to that, and then I had to pause my timer because I had to get up and do something. I think my husband needed to talk to me or something. But when I started the audiobook, I thought I restarted the timer, but I guess I didn't because I kept listening and I kept waiting for the timer to go off. And I was like, wow, I'm like getting really far in this book. I wonder how much time I have left. Like, it's probably about to go off. And I check, and it still was on 31 minutes. So I know I at least read for like an hour because of how long I was sitting listening. Just a little technical difficulty on my part, but it's fine. Good morning. It's Tuesday, and I'm going to be better about my timer today. Or I'm going to try. I make no promises. But last week on Tuesday, I spent 2 hours and 8 minutes on entertainment and social media. So we're going to aim for 2 hours and 8 minutes of reading. Made it to school. I am now at like a minute 51 or something. I was listening for just under 20 minutes on my drive. It is so good. I'm reading The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I think that's how you pronounce her name. It's the same author that wrote Me Before You. And I'm almost 90% of the way through. And this is the book that's due in like 2 days. So that's why I'm like rushing to finish it. But oh my gosh, if you enjoy Kristen Hanna, like her books and her writing about like women, historical literary fiction, read this book. I'm not even kidding. It is incredible. It is so good. It's really hard to listen to, kind of in the same way that Kristen Hanna books. Like, I don't know if anyone has read The Four Winds, but that was my most recent 5-star, my most recent Kristen Hanna read. And this is feeling very, very similar. It's set in like the 1930s in rural Kentucky, just out there struggling. And our main character, Alice, like there's a bunch of main characters and they're all women, but like the main character is Alice, and she is from England, moved here to Kentucky with her husband and joined a library. And this type of library is called a pack horse library, and they would get on horses and ride up into the mountains to deliver books to rural areas. But it's so much more than that. Like, it's so good. That's all I'm going to say about it. But just trust me, if you like Kristen Hanna, if you like women fiction, literary fiction, historical fiction, all of that stuff, like pretty loosely based on a true story as well, this book is so good. And I cannot wait to see how it ends. Did not update last night with whether or not I completed my time, but I did. I got all 2 hours and 8 minutes of reading. I think I did all of it except the last 30 minutes listening to my audiobook, because my audiobook is due back tomorrow, I think. So I'm listening to that right now on the way to work. I have like 2% left of it. It's so good. And then I spent the last maybe 30 minutes or an hour last night reading Remarkably Bright Creatures. And that book, I'm only like 100 pages in, and it's not a very long book. I want to say it's probably in like the 300, maybe 400 pages. I think it's less than 400 pages though. But I'm realizing it's definitely more of like a character study style novel. And it's very character driven as opposed to plot driven. And I read a lot of plot driven books.
Not saying that I don't like character driven. I just don't think I've ever really read character driven like this much. Like, so far, I don't know what the plot is. 100 pages in, there's no plot. It's just bouncing between these like 4 characters going about their lives, which I like. It's kind of, just like reality TV almost. Like, I'm just seeing what everyone's up to. But it is kind of throwing me off that I'm like, where are we going with this? But I don't hate it. So, and I don't know if I mentioned or not, but I'm reading that book for book club. So that one I have to finish it by next Saturday, which I definitely will. I hope to finish it this week with this challenge, because once I'm done with my audiobook, then the times that I'm reading at home will be just that book until I finish it. So, it's going well.
Done with my reading for day 3. Is it already day 3? Yes, it's Wednesday. So I finished The Giver of Stars today, and it was absolutely incredible. There's a conflict that we get in like the 60 to 70% mark, and it does not resolve until like the very, very end of the book. And the way that everything just comes together and resolves is so good. Like, I didn't see it coming. I'm very pleased with it. So if you have not read it, Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes, highly recommend. And then I've been reading Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I took the cover off because it was kind of like a very like papery, which I know they're all paper, but like this one felt like straight up paper. And I was afraid I was gonna rip it, and it didn't fit very well. It's gorgeous, but just for the ease of reading, I went ahead and took it off. And I am on page 179. I don't remember where I stopped last night, but I did get my 2 hours and 8 minutes, both today and yesterday. Kind of crazy that it's the same amount of time yesterday and today. But the book is, I'm probably about the halfway mark, because I think there's like 350 pages, and it's finally picking up. It's been good, but it's been very like casual. I think I mentioned in the last clip that I like really didn't know what the plot was. I finally figured out the plot, and it's still not plot driven. It's still very character driven, but I at least know the reason for writing the story and why these particular characters have been chosen as the main characters, and like why we're following them and stuff. So I am enjoying it. I really like the writing style, and it's just kind of like a unique story revolving around an octopus. So I'm happy with it. I'm also very happy with the amount of time that I've been reading this week. Do not read this much during the week, just because I get home and I'm so tired that I generally don't have like the energy to read. So since school started, I've really only been audiobooking. So I am glad to be getting back into actually reading after work, and I'm excited to see if I can finish this book in this video. I think so. I pretty much started it in this video, so we'll see.
Oh, this lighting is awful. But it is 6:41. I am on my way to work because I have to run a few errands before work. Today is Thursday, and I only have to read for an hour and 35 minutes today. Easy peasy. I am honestly shocked that I have not yet failed this challenge, or this, I guess it's a challenge. I'm honestly kind of shocked, because I did not think that I would actually be able to make myself read for this long. Not that I don't like reading, like I can read for a very long time, but usually after work, I'm just brain dead and don't want to think, and reading requires more thinking than like scrolling on social media. But I'm doing good, an hour and 35 minutes. Since I finished my audiobook yesterday, I had to get on Libby and borrow another one. So I borrowed Good Bad Girl. It's a book by Alice Feeney, and I will confirm the title of the book in my next clip, because I cannot remember right now. Not a clue what it's about, did not read any sort of synopsis. I just saw that it was Alice Feeney, so I clicked borrow. I do feel like I need a break from literary fiction and historical fiction, because the past like I did read a fantasy, but I read it at the same time as I was reading some literary and historical fiction. So I just like a break from that altogether. And so I'm going to read a thriller. It's only 9 hours, so I feel like I'm going to fly through it. But I'll let you know how it is after today. It's now the end of the day. It's 4:30. I just got home. The light is harsh. I have been listening to Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. I told you guys I'd remember. I didn't remember. I looked it up. But anyway, so I am about 7% into Good Bad Girl, and I am so confused. Like, so confused. I love Alice Feeney, and this book is just introducing, like, so many different storylines, and I know that they're all related, but listening to it, it's really hard to keep track of who's who, and I'm pretty sure she's being, like, intentionally vague with what storyline we're on and who's connected to who, because I'm pretty sure that's gonna be part of the plot twist. I don't even know what the plot is yet, because we've been to, like, 3 different people so far, and they all have, like, pretty intense stuff going on, so I'm just a little confused, but I'm excited. The narration is really good, so I'm having a great time. But I think I have like 53 minutes left, something like that, maybe a little bit more. So I'm gonna go in and read Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's Friday tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow. I finished my reading today super early because it wasn't as much, and I actually got home pretty early, so I was able to just knock it all out. And I made it to about 220 pages of Remarkably Bright Creatures. So I would say that I'm probably like 2/3 of the way through it now, and pieces are falling into place, and I am kind of eating it up. It's so like low stakes, just a leisure read, and it's cozy. Like, I do find myself getting a little, I don't want to say bored, but like there's nothing like hooking me to keep me reading. So I definitely think that if I didn't have, you know, my timer going, that it would take me a lot longer to get through this book, just because there's nothing that like I want to figure out. I'm just kind of hanging out with all these different people and seeing how their lives are interconnecting, but there's no like mystery that needs to be uncovered. Like, there's a little bit of a mystery, but it's not like, again, it's not high stakes, very just kind of chill. I'm really enjoying getting to know all the characters, but knowing who I am as a person, it would be a struggle for me to want to choose reading this book as opposed to like getting on YouTube, or like my husband has a movie on right now and just watching the movie with him. So definitely glad I'm doing this challenge, because that book has to be finished by next weekend. So definitely will have it done by now, because I only have like 120 pages left, so yay. But tomorrow we go back up a little bit to 1 hour and 57 minutes, which I really don't think is going to be that hard. Again, I already did my long days, so this is not going to be too bad. Happy Friday! So today I have to read for 1 hour and 57 minutes, and I'm already down to like 1 hour 41-ish, because I listened to it on my way to work, which is where I am right now. I am still listening to Good Bad Girl, and oh my gosh, I have no more clarity. Absolutely no clue what's going on. But it's fine. I'm intrigued, excited to figure out what's going on, but I do wish I was reading a physical copy, because I feel like that would be easier to be able to flip back and just make sure that I'm understanding things right, because there's quite a few characters that I'm like, is this the same character? Like, the storylines are starting to overlap a little bit, I think, and so I'm getting confused with who's who. And there's still like 2 storylines that the author is being intentionally vague about who she's talking about. So maybe it wouldn't be better with a physical copy, but I just think it would. So I might, over the weekend, go to the library and see if they have a physical copy. But I really like the narrator because one of the characters is Scottish and she's like reading it with a Scottish accent, so that's cool. But I've got to get inside and go to work, and I don't get to read until 4 today. It sucks that I have to wait so long to read more, but it's okay.
I'm home. This week has been exhausting, but of my hour and 57 minutes today, I'm down to an hour and 8 minutes. Good Bad Girl is really good. I am so intrigued because I'm so confused, and I'm dying to know how all of these characters are connected and related, and I'm very much enjoying myself so far. I'm not that far into it. I honestly don't even know like what percent I'm at right now, but it is interesting. So I'm having a good time with it. For the next hour, I mean, not like necessarily the next hour, just like the rest of the time I have to read today, I will be reading Remarkably Bright Creatures. Here she is. You can proof. Is it upside down? Proof that this is what I'm reading because I took the cover off. But I'm about 2/3 of the way through with it, and I know where it's going. And it's good. But like I said, I think yesterday, there's just nothing drawing me back. Like, I think if I put this book down, I would never think about it again and like not be upset that I never finished it. Does that make sense? Like, I just honestly think that when I finish this book, I'm never going to think about it again. It's not a bad book. It's just not like really doing anything for me, but I am enjoying it. I probably would recommend it if you're into character-driven books and that sort of stuff. But as far as like tropes and like themes and morals, I don't really know what this is. Like, I'm not sure what the themes are, really. Probably have to look it up. But I am going, like I said, to a book club on this book. So I'm sure we'll be discussing it, and maybe I'll have a better update then when I have more thoughts on it. I don't know. But this is what I'm going to read for the next hour. I probably won't finish it in an hour, but I should get pretty close.
Done for the night. I got to page 309. I'm almost done of the Remarkably Bright Creatures. So hopefully this weekend I'll finish it. It's actually really good. I feel like I keep going back and forth on it because I do really like it. It's just kind of boring. And even now, like, things are still falling into place. And I'm excited to see how they fall into place. But it hasn't been like, what's going to happen next? It's just like, oh, how is this going to resolve, you know? I am very pleased with how this week went. I've really been enjoying reading more. I hope it sticks. I definitely don't see myself reading for 2 hours a day every day. But, I mean, this just proves that I do have more time than I think I do. So, if I could read in addition to what I audiobook on the way to and from work, if I could read for like 30 minutes to an hour every day, I think I'd be in good shape. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video, swapping screen time for reading. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.